Every day you open a neural network, type in a question, read the answer, and close it. And so do millions of other people. But all this time, you're basically using the world's most expensive typewriter. Meanwhile, right there in the same app, there's a digital assistant who can organize your files, visit websites, and assemble documents for you, all while you just watch. And 99% of people don't even realize this. Everyone talks about ChatGPT, and that's where the conversation about neural networks seems to end. But while you're chatting with a bot, a new tool of a different class has appeared, Claude.
Claude AI.
Product developed by the company Anthropic. In May 2026, the Obus 4.8 version was released, which, among other things, has a fast mode, works several times faster, and is also cheaper than before. But it's not about the version number. The point is that Claude can do things that a regular chat simply cannot do at all. It doesn't just answer questions, it performs tasks directly on your computer, in your browser, and in your files. Today, I'll show you 15 specific ways, divided into 3 levels, from the basics, which you might think you know, but are almost certainly using incorrectly, to those that even people who pay for a subscription don't know about. And at the very end, there's a 3-word formula that works with any of these 15 methods and separates those who get generic, watered-down responses from the neural network from those who get results on the level of a paid consultation. Remember, it's almost never about the tool itself. It's about how you use it. Let's start with the first level. 5 basic abilities that seem obvious, yet almost everyone makes the same mistake with them. The first method is smart queries. Most people write to the neural network as if it's a search bar. How do I save up for an apartment? Where should I invest my money? And they get an answer of exactly the same quality, generic, faceless, and useless. But there's a trick that turns any banal question into a personal consultation, and it doesn't require complicated prompts. It's enough to add one more phrase at the end. Ask me all the necessary questions before you answer. And Claude doesn't rush to answer. First, it defines your time frame, goal, and constraints. Then it responds tailored to you. The difference in quality is quite noticeable. Second, use text that doesn't reveal the neural network. Claude writes letters, posts, responses, and proposals. Any LLM can. But Claude has a special quality that makes it beloved by writers. Of all neural networks, it sounds the least artificial. Less bureaucratic language. Fewer of those signature turns of phrase that immediately mark the text as generated. The secret is to give it a sample of your writing style. Paste in 2 or 3 of your previous letters and ask it to write in the same way. And as a result, you'll get a text you won't be ashamed to sign your name to. The third method is handling long documents in their entirety. This is where Claude really pulls ahead of the competition. It has a huge context window. It can keep an extremely large amount of text in mind at once. In practice, this means you upload not just a summary, but the entire document in full. An 80-page contract, an annual report, an entire manual. And you ask in plain language, explain this to me as if I were 12 years old, or where is something here that's not in my favor? A multi-page text is turned into 3 clear paragraphs in a second. And importantly, Claude has analyzed the entire document, not just the first 5 pages like its competitors. The fourth method is cross-checking and searching for contradictions. Uploading a single file is straightforward, but here's a technique that few people use. Give Claude several documents at once and ask it to compare them. Compare the old and new versions of the contract, explain what has changed. Here are 2 reports from different departments. Find where the numbers don't match. Check if this appendix contradicts the main text. By the 3rd page, the human eye starts to glaze over. Claude compares everything at once, and discrepancies that would take you an hour to find are instantly listed. Method 5. Artifacts instead of a simple wall of text. Ask it not to write, but to create. And on the right side of the chat, a separate window will open where the finished product will appear. A document, a table, a dashboard. Not text that you have to copy somewhere and then format, but a finished product that you can immediately download and send. If you found new tasks for yourself at the first level, congratulations. That means there's still a lot of useful information ahead for you. I understand that it's hard to remember all the points right away like this. And specifically for such cases, I've saved the most important things in a separate cheat sheet called Master Prompt for any neural network. With this prompt, the neural network stops giving unverified facts, minimizes falsehoods, and honestly critiques you instead of agreeing with every word. You can get it for free on my Telegram channel via the link in the description. And now let's move on. Level 2. Features that only a few people know about, and each one saves you hours. Method 6. Co-work. Computer access is a mode where Claude gets access to a selected folder on your computer and actually works with it. For example, the Downloads folder. For most people, it's a mass grave of 1,000 files that no one will ever sort through. You point to this folder and write 2 sentences. Sort the files by category. Claude takes a look inside for a couple of seconds, clarifies a few details, and sorts everything into folders. A minute and a half instead of a whole day, which you would never actually spend on this anyway. You would just keep living with this mess. Method 7. Claude in the browser. Similar to Cowork, but on the internet. You install a free browser extension, and Claude opens websites himself, reads them, and works with the content. Go to this rental website, pick the 5 best studio options within a certain price, and put them into a table. He opens a tab, scrolls through the page from top to bottom, reads each section, and provides a comparison. Landing page audit, competitor analysis, statistics review, he does all of this himself right on the page. Method 8, connectors to your services. Here, Claude connects to your personal tools, email, calendar, notes, cloud storage. You connect, say, your notes and ask, check my to-do list. Do I have a free hour and a half today? He goes through the entries, checks your schedule, and replies, you have a window at such and such time. Essentially, it's a personal assistant who sees your tasks and navigates them on their own. Method 9, working with data. Upload a CSV or Excel table and ask in plain language, create a revenue chart by month. Find anomalies in these numbers. Calculate which region experienced the biggest drop in sales. For those who have never been friends with formulas and pivot tables, this covers half of their work tasks without a single formula. Method 10, extended thinking. Next to the model selection, there is a mode where Claude doesn't rush to answer, but first thinks through the problem from all angles. The answer takes a bit longer to arrive, but the quality is on a different level. For serious tasks, be sure to enable it. 10 methods are behind us, but the real transformation lies ahead because at the third level, Claude stops being just a tool and becomes something closer to the operating system of your work. Level 3. Here, the density of usefulness is at its maximum. Each method is worth pausing and setting up today. Method 11, skills. Everyone has a task they do regularly, and each time they have to explain to the neural network again what style, what structure, what format. It's like having an employee who forgets the instructions every morning. Skills fix this. You train Claude once, and after that, it performs the task the same way with just a short command. Weekly report, commercial proposal, product description for a marketplace. Set it up once and use it endlessly. Method 12, projects. These are separate workspaces within Claude. One workspace for work, another for studying, a third for your channel. You upload your files and instructions into each one. And Claude doesn't mix up the context from one with another. A project only remembers what's inside it. Method 13, memory. Claude remembers important things from your conversations. What you're working on, your preferences, how you like to receive answers. With each interaction, the answers become more accurate and everything remains under your control. You can see what it remembers about you, delete any detail, or turn off memory entirely. Method 14. Deep research. You ask a question. Claude goes through dozens of sources, cross-references the data, and compiles a comprehensive report with links. What would have taken you an entire evening of juggling different tabs, he does in one go. And by connecting connectors, he searches not only the internet, but also your documents. Method 15. Websites, applications, games. And here's something that impresses even the skeptics. You need a one-page website for yourself, for a friend, or for a small business. You describe in words what sections you want, what style, and what should be on the main page. In minutes, a ready-to-use website is assembled on the right, fully animated and mobile-ready. It's a live site you can publish and share via a link. Freelancers charge hundreds and take days for this. Or you can even ask for a simple game and play it right in the chat window. Here are all 15 ways. And now, as promised at the beginning, the formula goes like this. Context plus specifics plus iteration. 3 words that work for each of the 15 ways. Context. Explain who you are and what you actually need. Specifics. Set precise parameters for the result. Not just make it nice, but a dark background, 3 blocks, this kind of tone. Iteration. Don't take the first answer as final. Clarify and refine. According to a BCG study, specialists who worked with the neural network using the correct methodology achieved results 49 percentage points higher than the control group. The difference between a completely ineffective chatbot and a fully functional digital employee is not a difference in the model, it's a difference in the individual who is actually sitting right in front of it. If you want to continue to calmly and practically develop your understanding of how neural networks and digital technologies are changing our work and our lives without panic and without hype, simply subscribe to the channel. And be sure to grab the completely free cheat sheet on working with neural networks in my Telegram channel. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment.